listening to the Brave Babe podcast. I hope you're ready to be totally inspired to be brave and radically empowered to drop your excuses, pick up your worth, and start creating a life you truly love. Because, babe, you're worth it. Hey babes, happy Monday, or happy whatever day it is when you're hearing my voice right now. If it's a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, then I guess you're just a slacker. No, just kidding. But I do drop new episodes of the Brave Babe podcast every Monday, so make sure to subscribe so you can spend just 20 minutes of your Mondays with me. I'm your host, Jelena Dawn, and this is episode 3 of the Brave Babe podcast. Monday gets so much hate, doesn't it? Like, we have to start the week all over again. Well, I hope your day isn't sucking and that your weekend was awesome. I spent a few hours out in the sun this past weekend on Saturday, and then I spent all of Sunday regretting it. It's still like 100 degrees here in Arizona, even though it's mid-September, so the heat was exhausting. But my 12-year-old son volunteered to be a backup player for another baseball team that wasn't sure they'd have enough players for their tournament. So since he was going to be gone at the game, my options were to either let my husband take him while I stayed home with our 3 kids and nephew, or pack up all of the kids and go to the game. I went with the latter, thinking that at least if I got the kids out of the house for a while, that would be a few hours that they couldn't destroy their playroom, bowl down the hallway with toilet paper rolls, put every toy they own in my shower, eat every fruit snack in the pantry, or any of the other 1,000 ways that they terrorize our house in just under 5 minutes. If there's one thing that my kids excel at, it's their ability to completely undo all of the housework I've done in record time. In hindsight, though, I don't know what I was thinking. The heat was awful, and it made the toddlers totally cranky and clingy, which didn't make watching baseball very much fun. My daughter, on the other hand, saw 3 other little girls who were sitting on the stadium-style concrete bleachers of the field that my son was playing at, and asked me if she and her sister could go join the girls. I, of course, said yes and told them to be kind, and then I watched as my girls grabbed their own bag of notebooks, colored pencils, stamps, and whatever other crafty things they packed for the day, and they approached the other girls who all appeared to be about the same age as my oldest daughter, Michaela, who's going to be turning 11 soon, while my youngest daughter, Charlie, who's 6.5, followed suit. I couldn't hear what Michaela said to the 3 girls when she walked up to where they were sitting, but in my head, I imagined her saying, "Hi, I'm Michaela. You can be my friend." Because that's the exact phrase Michaela used at age 4 when she met her now brother Braden for the first time nearly 7 years ago. Back when, what feels like ages ago, my family only consisted of my husband, son, and me, and life was, if I'm being honest, so much easier, we decided to add a lot of love and a heaping spoonful of chaos to the recipe. And we became foster parents, thinking we'd only foster 1 child at a time, which couldn't be that difficult. Except that the same day our license was approved, our very first call was for a sibling group, and our heartstrings were pulled when we learned why they were coming into foster care. So we prayed over it, and then we said yes to both kiddos. About 10 minutes later, our license was amended, and an hour later, a little boy and a little girl were placed in our care, and so started our foster family journey. About a year and 2 more foster kiddos later, I remember riding up the elevator to the Department of Child Safety offices and meeting the caseworker who asked my family to provide a home for 4-year-old Michaela and her newborn baby sister. Well, actually, they told me over the phone that the 3-day-old baby was a boy, and it was Michaela who corrected them when I got there, saying, "Nuh-uh, this is my sister, not my brother, duh." She then proceeded to tell me, "I'm coming to live with you now, so you can help me take care of the baby." I remember thinking to myself, wow, this girl is super bossy, but I'm also digging her confidence. I drove the girls to their new temporary home and got them settled in, and while we were upstairs, my husband and son came home. Michaela heard them come into the house, ran over to the banister and cupped her hands over her mouth, and then shouted down the stairs, "Hi, Braden, I'm Michaela, and you can be my friend." She then demanded that Braden come upstairs to see her pretty bedroom and play with her. Braden's reaction was something between sheer panic at having a girl close to his age in our home, especially since our previous foster kiddo was a boy close to his age, and then also shock that she wasn't shy and quiet and scared like most of the other children he'd helped welcome into our home. It didn't take long before they were playing together while I fed and changed the baby, but man, did Michaela come into our family with a burst of energy and some major confidence, declaring everyone as her new friends. This is something I've always admired in my daughter, and I proudly say daughter because after 698 days in foster care, we were finally able to adopt Michaela and Charlie. This was just 32 days shy of the longest 2 years of our lives. And the best part, our foster and adoption journey didn't end there. But that's another story for another podcast episode. And if it's one that you want to hear about, leave me a comment or shoot me a message and let me know because I want to tell you the parts of my life that you actually want to know about. Anyways, back to my daughters approaching these 3 10-year-old girls at the baseball game, asking if they can join them in whatever they were doing on the stairs, which, as it turns out, they were pretend playing school. I watched as Michaela spoke, then observed an awkward moment of silence from the other girls as they all looked at each other. You know when you're at a funeral and the pastor asks everyone to honor the deceased with a moment of silence? But rather than a very brief period of time, it feels like 10 minutes have passed before the silence is finally broken. Yeah, that's what it felt like as a mom, watching her daughters attempt to make friends with other girls, praying that they'd be accepted. The 3 girls looked back at Michaela and Charlie, and I could see their eyes look down at their shoes, then up at their clothes, then dart their eyes to the bag that Michaela was carrying, then up to Michaela's frizzy hair. They then glanced back at each other as if searching for an answer to the simple question, can we join you? It's as if they were seeking some unspoken approval or permission from the others before the silently nominated official spokesperson for the trio finally responded with, yeah, you can join us. This girl then scooted over and made room for my girls to join, while the other 2 scooted away from them, still not sure who they were or why they were interrupting their pretend school lesson. Seriously, how accurate is that scene from Mean Girls when Katie meets Regina George and the other plastics in the lunchroom and they ask her a set of ridiculous questions before whispering amongst themselves, then finally concluding that Katie could sit with them at lunch for the week, but on Wednesdays we wear pink. I see this happen so often with grown women too. Women have their little circle of friends and are so hesitant to allow someone new in, as if the entire group needs to learn everything about her and put it up to a vote first before inviting her to take a seat at their table. And even then, they remain hesitant and instinctively evaluate this new woman from head to toe. You know what the first thing we do is when we meet another woman? Of course you do because, just a guess here, but you do it too, even if only subconsciously. This is something we do only when meeting other women, not men. We immediately begin comparing ourselves to her to evaluate her threat level. Is she better looking than me? Well, she's trying to mask her frizzy hair in a top knot, and mine's on point today thanks to that new frizz control spray I used after I looked out the window and realized the weather was a bit humid. So 1 point for me. But her face is all done up while I barely threw on mascara and chapstick today, so that point goes to her. Is she better dressed than me? Another point for her. She can obviously afford brand name outfits while I'm over here just wearing a combination of stuff I bought from Goodwill on Dollar Day. But I would have to say that my butt looks better than hers because I've been killing that squat challenge at the gym. So the score is tied up again. Here's the tiebreaker. What does her wedding ring look like? My goodness, look at that rock. How the heck does she even lift her hand? Damn it, she takes the lead. Okay, this chick obviously has her life together way more than I do, so I'm officially a bit threatened by her. Oh, the illusions. Ladies, why are we threatened by other women? Babe, if you're laughing right now, it's because you totally get this because it's a natural habit that we all have. We compare ourselves to her, and all we notice are the differences. But I believe that as women, we have much more in common with each other than we may think. And gosh, get this. What if, when meeting new women, we looked for commonalities first, rather than comparing our differences? I recently started following a woman on Instagram named Arielle Astoria, who's this insanely talented writer, speaker, and poet. She says that words are not for the ears, but for the soul, and she passionately shares messages that are outright beautifully inspiring, especially for other women. Arielle was a guest on Jenna Kutcher's podcast, I think last month, and she talked about comparison, and I have a feeling that you're really going to like the analogy she used. Arielle referred to the way women compare themselves to each other as a potluck. Imagine for a moment, if you will, that your boss sends out an email announcing that Friday will be a potluck to celebrate all of the September birthdays in the office, and there's a sign-up sheet posted in the break room. Before you can decide what dish you'll be adding to the table come Friday, you mosey your way on over to the break room to see what everyone else is bringing. Because the whole point of a potluck is to have a variety of foods, right? How much would it suck if everybody brought a tray of cookies and no one brought actual food? So, if you're a type A person, you have to be the first one to sign up and claim your signature dish so no one else beats you to it. Or if you're the type B kind, you wait and see what everyone else is contributing before deciding what you'll bring to the table. As Ariel put it, don't show up empty handed because you're so worried about what others are bringing. What are you bringing to the table? It makes sense, right? We obsessively worry about what others have to offer and how it compares to what we have to offer. And when that comparison has us feeling less than, we stumble and allow our crown to slip off our pretty little heads. But you know what that other woman we are comparing ourselves to is doing? Yep, she's doing the exact same thing, evaluating us and noticing all the difference between herself and you, and allowing her crown to slip a little as well because there's something she admires in you that she sees herself as lacking. And babe, the thing that she admires in you is probably the thing that you view as your biggest flaw. And that thing that you like about her, it's probably the thing that she's most self-conscious about too. It's crazy how that works, isn't it? Ladies, we've got to stop doing this to ourselves. If we looked for commonalities first rather than comparisons, we'd probably realize that this woman is just as exhausted and overwhelmed by life as we are. Her home isn't immaculate when she's not expecting company because her kids also believe that the entire house is their playground. That hot husband of hers, they have the same occasional arguments, just like you and your spouse do. She looks in the mirror and she sees all of her body's imperfections because, like you, she's still learning self-love. She desires deep, meaningful connections with other women just as you do, but she also fears letting people in because she doesn't know who she can trust. So her guarded heart, like yours, makes it tougher to crack through the superficial friendship crap to get to the good stuff. She may have had a completely different childhood than your own, but she still desires to be loved and wanted and needed by others just as you do. When we look at her this way, she doesn't seem as threatening to us, does she? You don't feel intimidated by her, do you? You want to get to know her and be friends with her and appreciate that she brings a bomb AF creamy chicken casserole to the potluck while you bring a yummy cinnamon French toast casserole. Similar dishes, yet completely different, yet totally complementary of each other. Oh my gosh, these casseroles are totally friends now. There was this article being shared on Facebook a few weeks ago that came up in my feed numerous times because several of my friends shared it to their timeline. As of now, it has over 384,000 shares. This is an obvious testament to the fact that so many women, myself included, struggle when it comes to friendships and we desire more connection with other women. It's written by a blogger named Amy Weatherly, and apparently the original concept came from Glennon Doyle, who, by the way, I got to hear speak at a Powerful You event I went to earlier this year, and she is amazing. But the post talks about recognizing when another woman is alone and perhaps feels like she doesn't fit in. And rather than excluding her from your circle, Amy challenges you to be the kind of woman you wish someone would have been for you when you were still trying to make new friends as an adult. And open your circle until it becomes a you. Amy says to stop building circles and build a you instead. Leave room for everyone, she says. Make a way so anyone can walk up and feel like they have a place to stand. She continues, leave room for good people who look different than you, who run in different crowds than you, who may like different things than you, who come from different places than you. Differences were never made to divide us. They were made to build us and to teach us and to fill in the gaps where our own gifts give way and come up short. Amy points out something else important, that it's good to have your few trusted friends and to keep them close and to spend time with them and share your secrets with them because we need to build and maintain and safeguard those sacred sisters. But as she also points out, while we can't be best friends with everybody, we can notice everyone. We can make room for everyone. We can still be kind, thoughtful, and generous. My favorite part of the article is when Amy says that circles are great when you're on the inside and it can be fun when you're in one, but circles can be awfully cruel if you're left on the outskirts looking for a way to get inside. She continues, circles can be exclusive, excluding, and exhausting. Circles can be cliquish, childish, and are far too common. Hence, her idea to stop building circles and instead build a U, making room for others. And I'm telling you that in order to make room for others, and because how we make others feel about themselves says a lot about us, we've got to train our minds to start looking for commonalities with new women rather than allow comparisons to close our circle off to her. In her documentary, Beyonce, Life is But a Dream, the queen bee herself admits that there's no therapy like being heard and understood by another woman when she said, I love my husband, but there's nothing like a conversation with a woman that understands you. I grow so much from those conversations. I need my sisters. Babes, we need each other so badly. We were created to be in community with each other, and the impact that we have on each other's physical, mental, and emotional well being is startling. Psychology Today shared a study in cancer patients that shows that a woman's friends can have an even greater impact on a patient's quality of life and physical and emotional functioning than her family or significant other can. The study was on female patients with gynecological cancers, like cervical, ovarian, breast cancers, etc., between the ages of 34 and 80. And according to Psychology Today, the researchers analyzed 18 specific areas of psychological and physical impact and found that support from friends was the most impactful in 15 of those areas. Combined with other research, this shows that patients who have strong social support suffer less pain and receive more effective results from their cancer treatments than patients without good friends. I don't know about you, but I find that to be freaking amazing. We as women have the power to help each other heal physically and mentally. We need each other. On the flip side, though, of Queen Bee talking about how impactful her friendships with other women are in her life, she sings these lyrics in her song Ave Maria. I've been alone when I'm surrounded by friends. How could the silence be so loud? I'm sure you can relate to this too. When you feel like you have friends, but those friendships are just superficial. You can talk to those friends about the good parts of your life, but you intentionally leave out the bad parts because, gasp, if you went there and you started divulging the real raw parts of your life, would these friends accept you for who you are? Are you accepting of your friends for who they truly are and all that they have going on in their lives? Are you allowing yourself to see the commonalities between you and her, thus allowing you to be compassionate and patient and understanding and willing to pray for her and willing to help her in any way that you can because you know darn well how overwhelming life can be at times? Or are you so distracted by comparison that your friend is drowning in silence because she feels so alone? Or are you that friend that I just referred to, the one that's feeling alone in a circle of women? Babes, when I was sitting at the ball field in the scorching hot sun this past weekend, watching my two little daughters bravely try to join a circle of girls who instantly noticed the differences between them, and I felt unsure if they would accept and welcome them in, the beautiful thing that I noticed was that it only took one of those girls to move aside, opening the circle and creating that U shape that allowed Michaela and Charlie to join them. It only took that one little girl to say, sure, we're pretend playing school. This is Laura, our teacher, and I'm Lizzie, and this is Karen, and we're the students. Laura's teaching us an art lesson. You want to color with us? I see you brought some colored pencils in your bag. As my daughters pulled out their supplies and opened their notebooks, eager to take an art lesson from teacher Laura, I observed that Laura and Karen started scooting back over towards my daughters, following Lizzie's example, and they welcomed them to the classroom. Then, boom, they spent the rest of the day playing together, united by a pretend art class. So, babes, I'd like to challenge you to be like Lizzie was with my girls. Okay, maybe without the initial hesitation and the one-over looks and the whispering that took place at first, but you get what I mean. Be that woman who leaves room for others. Be that woman who, like my daughters, were brave enough to make new friends. Be that woman who accepts everyone, who looks for commonalities rather than jumping to comparison. Be that woman who doesn't show up to the potluck empty-handed because she's too worried about what everyone else is bringing to the table. Be the woman who speaks up when she's feeling alone and the one who bravely says, "Hey friend, how about we cut through the superficial stuff and talk about the things that really matter?" Because I think we have more in common with each other than we may realize. And we can really help improve each other's mental and physical health by just diving deeper into our friendship. What do you say? What did Michaela say when she walked up and introduced herself and her sister to those girls? I'm not really sure. I didn't ask her. But whatever she said, I know that she said it with the same confidence as when she met her brother for the first time and announced, "Hi, I'm Michaela. You can be my friend." Ladies, let's be like Michaela. Be confident in yourself and accepting of all others. Be a friend. Be bold. Be brave, babe. If you're trying to find your tribe, I'd love to personally invite you to join the Brave Babe Tribe and connect with other women who inspire bravery and empower women to drop their excuses, pick up their worth, and create a life they truly love. You can head over to bebravebabe.com to connect with us. We'd seriously love to have you. And if you enjoyed this podcast, please hit that subscribe button, leave your girl a 5-star review, and share the Brave Babe podcast with the women in your life.